What Crazy Dog Audio Theatre Company have done is create a show called The People's Republic of Gerry Murphy, a musical odyssey that celebrates the work of a man many call the Poet Laureate of the People's Republic of Cork. Our company, together with Everyman Palace Productions, have created a musical show that's an hour-long roller coaster of fun, thought-provoking, sexy, stimulating, hard to define entertainment.
Gerry's a very interesting poet. His take on the world is interesting, very surreal, very oblique.
A strength which I think dovetails with this particular production is the way Gerry's poetry uses various elements of jazz.
The show is hugely sensitive to his work.
I think when Gerry does it, sometimes there's a self-effacing kind of delivery going on. But when I heard it tonight, I thought, that's the way it deserves to be told, really.
I think what's really important is that the show works on its own terms. It's taken Gerry's poetry and it has interpreted it in a different medium, and I think that it works tremendously well.
Gerry's poetry deserves to be heard, either him reading it or, as in the show, a wonderful amalgam of voices, different voices, bringing different tones and unexpected takes on the poem.
I love the aspect that some of the pieces are, the spoken voice and song and the overlapping, which is just so particular to the way he would work if he could have directed it that himself. It's very, very powerful, and everybody who's seen it, as when I can gather on the street, is very impressed with that.
Your breasts.
I think that the show is actually one of the finest examples of bringing that energy that is present in his work, and also a sensitivity to his voice.
Home in one breath, not that you would notice.
Gerry's little vignette about Lennon levitating, when that young woman sung that poem at quite a high pitch, there was something eerily beautiful about it, which I hadn't seen in the poem itself when I read it.
Of the remarkable
It works as an intermediary between an audience and Gerry's work, and says, okay, we acknowledge, we appreciate that you mightn't have the time to be delving into individual poetry volumes, but we're here to act as an intermediary between you and this body of work, to assure you that it's full of quality, it's worth you spending your time with, and we're going to do it in a way that we can assure you won't be bored.
Up yours, Gayborn!
Well, I love the Gay Byrne poem. I mean, anybody who's of my age knows Gay Byrne, was brought up with Gay Byrne and is fond of Gay Byrne, and half hated him when he was in his teenage years, and he was talking about stuff like how you tie up a turkey at Christmas, right? So when you've got this overlay of Gay Byrne and well, and the whole thing, and then you've got some guy saying, well, up yours, Gay Byrne, that really resonates for me, and it was done with such good humour. I think it would make a fantastic single. I think that's possibly the hit.
And actually what struck me was how insane actually the show was in terms of all the props that had to be used, the way that live voice had to mix with kind of instruments, and the way actors had to kind of crawl around each other on the stage to try and get to the next piece.
The mouse watches everything I do. I do not eat, I do not sleep, I do not breathe.
I think Gerry's poetry is accessible, and I think he takes us intellectually to new places.
He's very much a Cork poet that hasn't been discovered outside of Cork very much, but yet I think that and I think the show and the radio production will be very important in terms of bringing Gerry's vision to a wider audience.
It's impressive to see the versatility of the performers. Not only are they good actors, but they've also got good musicianship.
If it works, it works, and people can see straight away. People aren't fools, and it works. The show really works. It works in lots of different ways.
I thoroughly enjoyed it on every level. It revealed aspects of his poetry to me that I hadn't realised. There were new interpretations of his poems, and it's interesting that Gerry's poetry lends itself to interpretation.
There are people who are afraid of approaching poetry on a page, and this production makes poetry on the page accessible.
It's not unlike his own work, and there aren't too many contemporary poets that I know of that could be adapted in such a kind of a seamless way as the show managed.
It doesn't mess around too much with the work of Gerry Murphy. It presents poems in their entirety, and it shows respect for the work. It respects the moral rights of the author by not dickying around with it.
I think Gerry's poetry is better appreciated orally rather than on the written page.
It's a thing unto itself. It's a new form. It's an innovation. How do you explain that? Sorry, you're going to have to come and witness it, you know.